Welcome back. This session is with Jan Dotan of Affluent.io. It is using data to supercharge your affiliate program. Jan, welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So just a little bit about you and your company before we get into the details of this session,
Sure.
because data, obviously it's not the sexiest topic to talk about, but it's a very important. So I want to just have everyone understand who you are and how your company became, how it was born, and
Sure.
where you are today.
Sure. Awesome. So Jan, hi everybody. I was an affiliate marketer, or was in SEO and all kinds of other stuff, and then got into affiliate marketing with Affluent's co-founder. We ran a series of websites that reviewed products and services and all kinds of stuff like that. So we were publishers, and we very quickly got into an issue where if we wanted to figure out, how much money we had made the previous month or how we were trending or anything like that, we had a spreadsheet that we called the Spread Beast, which had a list of usernames and passwords for every single affiliate network that we were signed up to, from the big affiliate networks to direct programs and all kinds of stuff. And it was literally like 1,000 different accounts that we had to log into all the time. And the result of that was, in reality, we just never had any clue what was going on. And so pretty early into that, we figured out that we actually weren't the best publishers. And that maybe the opportunity for us was in trying to solve that issue. So we founded Affluent as a platform to aggregate data from any affiliate platform into one, give analytics, all kinds of other stuff. And pretty early on, we pivoted actually away from the publisher side to build that solution for agencies and advertisers. So sort of our whole deal has been pulling in affiliate data from various sources and how agencies, how advertisers, and how publishers can use that data to help themselves. So this is very much our ethos, is data in the affiliate world.
Well, that's good. And it's one of those things where it's commonly misunderstood or not used properly, the data. So explain to me just a little bit without we don't want to talk too much about your product. We will at the end, but just how data and how it's hasn't been used properly over the years, and how it's starting to be used more in making big decisions.
Well, and it totally is, with us and regardless of us. So the question totally makes sense. It's I think a really interesting field. So affiliate has always been the relationship industry. It's also an industry that's been around for a long time. So if you think of some of the big affiliate networks, those are networks that were now founded literally 21, 22, 23 years ago. So in an entirely different era of data. And so it's a field that's relationship driven. It's a field that has a real mix of old technology that has updated, that hasn't updated, new technology, influencers and all kinds of different players and all kinds of stuff like that. And the industry hasn't necessarily always kept up as far as data goes. And if you compare that to digital ads or SEO or something like that, that's much more, like person behind a screen, data. And while affiliate is relationship driven, it ultimately is a data centric endeavor. If the numbers aren't going the right way, if the right things aren't happening, then what you're doing either isn't optimized or isn't worth it or anything like that. In the few years that we've been in the industry, we've seen the attitude towards data change in a huge way. When we started doing what we do, we got a lot of questions of why? What is this? Why would I do this kind of thing? Whereas now we're already, coming across people who are doing it themselves, who are figuring out solutions, and all of that kind of stuff. And really sort of what's at the heart of it is, yes, affiliate is relationship driven, but you have to have answers to the questions that data answers. Do you know how your program is trending year over year? Who are your top affiliates and how does that compare to previously? If you had an affiliate that suddenly stopped sending you clicks or something like that, how long would it take you to know about that kind of thing? And so, again, at the end, affiliate's great. It's a relationship driven endeavor, but the data side of things is hugely, hugely important. And we're seeing that happen.
Yeah, and it's only going to get more important because the affiliate networks provide the simple data like the clicks and transaction costs, things like that. But you the brands and advertisers and even agencies want to be able to analyze deeper into that, and that's where I think the affiliate networks kind of I wouldn't say I guess you can say they lack that, where they just provide data for basically what you need, but there's really no like deep diving into data through the affiliate networks. And I think that's, you mentioned brands are trying to make decisions on what to do and where to spend their money. That's a big part of this, is trying to get the data to show people that, hey, affiliate is doing this. Can we have more money, kind of thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the networks are kind of they're predominantly concerned with things that are important. Tracking, helping you connect with publishers and communicate with publishers and all of that kind of stuff, and stuff that really is the basis of it all. But many of them have sort of not put that extra weight into helping you figure out how it's all doing. And absolutely, so whether it's an advertiser, if for sure, if you're a multi-network advertiser or if you're an agency dealing with lots of different networks, it's the difficulty grows exponentially. And most of the networks have a ton of data, they just don't necessarily surface it. So it's all in there. You just have to do a little bit of digging to get at it.
So we do have quite a few agencies that are involved here, that are attending this. So why is it important for them to use like a central hub of information versus working like one by one in networks? Like, why is that so important? Obviously, for obvious reasons, it simplifies it, but there's other reasons why it's important.
Where it gets interesting for agencies is really in leveraging that data. So in a lot of different ways, because for example, let's say you're managing 20 different affiliate programs. You're going to be working with different publishers in each one, and many times there will be overlaps and all kinds of stuff like that. So one simple thing is figuring out something like doing a gap analysis, saying, hey, I work with all of these fashion brands. Am I leveraging the existing publisher relationships that I already have well across all of those? There's also, for agencies in particular, sort of like a representation thing. So agencies will be working with one publisher across 30 different accounts, and from that publisher's perspective, they're doing a little bit of business with each of these brands. But really, if you come and approach them as an agency and say, hey, actually, you're working with us for all of this commission that you're driving, it helps you negotiate, it helps you solidify relationships, it helps do all of that kind of stuff. And on top of that, it's also interesting to help sort of see broader trends, what's happening in different industries, what's happening across different advertisers. So you can say, hey, this wasn't just like a fluke in this one thing, it was something that is part of a larger trend.
Yeah, and speaking of like trends and things like that, I wanted to go a little bit about like COVID, since COVID's been here just about pretty much a year now, a little over a year now. What have you seen? Obviously everything's different, but what have you seen in terms of the data that shows what industry been affected? What have seen the most growth in just
Totally.
a little bit?
Well, the first thing, the sort of crazy thing is it's been, from the data that we're looking at, just a banner year for affiliate. Affiliate has grown in a significant way across kind of just like every measure. So I'll start actually not with COVID, but we were comparing Black Friday numbers year over year, and Adobe Analytics had reported, unrelated to affiliate, that this year's Black Friday was the biggest that has ever been, that it was like 20% or 21% year over year versus last year's Black Friday. When we look at our data for advertisers that have been in the system for that amount of time, we see that it's more like a 45% increase year over year. And we're looking across a pretty large set of data at this point of time. So from our aspect, analyzing that, it looks like affiliate has had just an outsized effect this year. And I think it makes sense because it really is the channel that is sort of the safest for advertisers. As far as COVID, so we saw sort of everything slow down at first, and obviously certain things took huge hit. Travel, hotels, all of that kind of stuff. And it stayed quiet for a little while, but then we saw other industries that sort of came in to take their place. So, obviously e-commerce, but also things like outdoor activities and things related to staycations and stuff like that really, stepped up in a huge way. And now across, most sectors, with the exception of travel, we're seeing numbers that are either equal or exceeding what they were a year ago, which is kind of crazy at this point of time.
Yeah, and throughout the last year, even early on in COVID, Amazon slashed their commissions.
Yes.
And that concerned a lot of their affiliates because they were going basically to nothing at that point, very, very low. So they had to find replacements, and a lot of these brands that had affiliate programs benefited from that because whatever the affiliate was selling on Amazon, they would find a similar product and connect with a brand that was doing that. And that, I'm sure that had a big effect too.
Yeah, and we have a lot of conversations with publishers as well. And so we've sort of seen the ebb and flow of Amazon over time. Obviously, Amazon is huge. There's no doubting any of that. But most publishers that we talk to about Amazon, they're looking for alternatives. They're using Amazon because it's convenient, because it's huge, because everything is on there. But stepping away from the data and towards the relationships, that's where affiliate really shines. You can talk to publishers and sort of make that case. Don't think it's one that's overly difficult to make at this point in time. But yes, certainly also has contributed to the growth.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because when Amazon announced their commission slashing, I had affiliates reaching out to me just saying, "Look, we're promoting this product. You have similar products. What can you do?" We would give them a percentage, and it would be like 10 times more than what they were getting. It's absolutely crazy. And but
100%. No, Amazon is sort of your haggling for pennies at some point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, in terms of we're still really in the midst of COVID. It's really not slowing down at all. It's some places actually getting worse. But do you see the trajectory of affiliate just keep going up and up?
That's our expectation. And, really across almost every metric, again, with the exception of the really obvious sectors, we've just seen the industry continue to grow and grow beyond what we've expected in really every measure. We saw, I said the revenues that we saw for Black Friday were something like 45% higher than the previous year. The traffic that we saw was something like 300 or 400% higher. So there's maybe certain things that are still lagging others, but there's just no question that way more is funneling through affiliate.
Because what I see happening, like on the agency side and working with brands, is they're seeing that they're dumping a ton of money into like paid social and Google ads, and they're not getting really an ROI on it that they want. And they're starting to allocate more of that money into the partnership side, where it's like influencer and affiliate, and they're seeing the benefits of that because they're spending a fraction of the money and they're getting a ton of ROI. And it's really crazy how it's just like switching like that.
There's an interesting sort of phenomenon that we see with some advertisers, that there's a little bit of like an outsourcing of doing social, of doing Google, all of that stuff via affiliates. People will work with search agencies, social agencies, and set up an affiliate deal with them. And really what you're doing there is you have a social promotion channel. You've just sort of hedged your bets and are protecting yourself by having somebody who has a ton of experience and who's only getting paid when you sell something do it for you.
Yeah, no, and I think that's based on what I've seen, that's the new thing is like hiring an agency to work on a performance basis to do a lot of those because um, first of all, it's a lot. It's like you said, the risk is less. The ROI is there because they only pay when a conversion happens, and the only negative is the affiliate or the agency that you're working with. They have all their skin in the game. They have all their money out there and buying ads and things like that. So they got to be on top of their game. But
yeah, and that's something I wouldn't recommend anybody to do before you have like a pretty solid handle on your conversion rates and your conversion process and all that kind of stuff. Because once you get into those relationships, if it doesn't go well, those are very hard to claw back. And then, of course, like everything, there is risk there. If you are considering those relationships, you have to be very careful about the terms and make sure that they're not obviously doing anything fraudulent, but doing things like bidding on brand terms and all kinds of stuff like that. There are plenty of places to trip there as well. But if you figure it out well, it's in our opinion a great model.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with your agency solution that you have. Can you just like summarize it a little bit? Because
Sure.
we have a lot of agencies here, and I
Sure.
think it'd be beneficial for them to understand that you may be on multiple networks, like 5-6 different networks, and you're signing in with the passwords and all that.
Yep.
Why a one-stop shop is probably the best solution, and how yours can help them grow their programs.
Totally. I'll try and keep it short and not too salesy, but basically what we do is we aggregate data from any platform into one. So if you're an agency and you're working with whatever number of clients across whatever number of networks, we bring all of the data into one dashboard. So at just very basic level, you're saving time hopping back and forth between logins and stuff like that. We'll do things like automate client reporting, so you can set up your own dashboards and all of that kind of stuff, and then you don't have to be downloading and formatting and all of that. And everything's real time. You can give clients login access to their own real-time dashboards, all that kind of stuff. And then there's also the whole leveraging of data. So one of the big things we'll do is alerts. So we'll alert you if a publisher made a sale with a brand for the first time, or if a publisher that generally does a lot of sales has started declining, or suddenly stopped sending clicks, or something like that. And we'll do all sorts of stuff on the recruitment side as well. We're not a recruitment tool, but we do recruitment analytics. So, seeing how your recruitment efforts are going, how many publishers are signing up, figuring things out, like how many of your affiliates are active and inactive, and leveraging data across all of that kind of stuff as well. A little tidbit that I'll give there, which is nothing related to us. Another analysis that we did recently was correlation between number of active affiliates and health of an affiliate program, just measured by month over month growth. And one of the bigger correlations that we found was the higher your percentage of active affiliates, the more likely your program is to be healthy. So, we'll see occasionally an affiliate program where there are 1,000 affiliates registered, but only whatever it is, 3% of them are active, 4% of them are active, something like that. And then on the other hand, you'll get programs where there's 60 affiliates signed up, but it's like 80% of them are active, and that tends to be just a great indicator for health. And we see it sort of as a consequence of focus. If you're focusing down, if you're building those relationships rather than just spray and pray kind of thing.
It's the old saying, quality over quantity. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly. And that, even though that also has interesting implications of its own. So, for the most part across affiliate programs, we will see with publishers sort of the 20-80 rule. 20% of the publishers doing 80% of the business. But when we look into things like incrementality, there also tends to be, or seems at least to be, a strong benefit to working across the long tail. But again, that long tail can't be just work with everybody. It still has to be managing those relationships.
Now, how do you see, like, when these programs are set up and they offer like bonus campaigns and things like that? So if they offer affiliates like X amount of sales, they get a bonus.
Mhm.
or they get a first sale bonus, things like that. Um, is that type of stuff trackable? Is that something that you can pull into reports and show? Because that could be really, really useful.
Hey, you're doing my sales pitch for me.
I'm just asking questions that I have. I had no idea that you even did that.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll pull in, and anybody can pull in if you're downloading reports or using APIs or any of that. Most networks make most of their data available. So that'll be both things like sales, but then whether it's things like leapfrog transactions and share a sale, or bonuses, or placements in CJ, or whatever it is. Most of that stuff can be pulled out, and then there's certainly a lot to learn in all of that. Looking at conversion rates across publishers compared to bonuses and stuff like that, to see things like, hey, we're paying this person bonuses. Are we really getting something out of it? Are they higher quality? Is it worth it? All that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I think it comes down to is brands having the data in front of them to actually make those decisions. And I'm not saying that yours is the right way to go, but it's just having the information available and just to see this, because when I look at data from networks, you don't get a lot of that. You just get the basic information. You don't get a lot of the, well, we pay this person bonuses and pay him commission here. Are we really making money? Is it really worth it? You don't get that kind of data really, and it's something that's really important, because if you want to optimize those relationships, you need to know that, and in order to build new ones, you need to understand that. So it's definitely something that I see is very important.
In my previous job before Affluent, I worked at a digital marketing agency, and one of the things that we did a lot there was paid marketing, so Google and search and all that kind of stuff. And there it was like you live on data. You know off the top of your head what your conversion rates are and how you do with different demographics in different countries and all that kind of stuff. And in some ways, I feel like affiliate gets it easy because it's commission based, right? There is like a minimum level of bad performance you can be hitting. It's not like an affiliate you can really be spending $1 million but only earning 200,000
Right.
for the most part. So in some ways we sort of get it easier, but then there's just a lot of opportunity left on the table because people aren't paying attention to those things.
Yeah, no, and I think it comes back to the industry and how it's evolving a lot quicker than it used to, and
100%.
I think it's just taking time for all this to get put into place, and eventually we'll be there, and we'll be with the rest of the channels, but it's just definitely taking more time.
I think it'll happen pretty quickly, and the technology aspect of things is exciting, because we're seeing so many different tools and service providers and models and all kinds of things popping up that really, like in the few years that we've been doing this, we saw very, very little of it in the beginning, and now it's like constantly there's something new coming out. So it's an exciting time to be in the space.
No, and I want to wrap up by asking you a question. Where do you see the affiliate marketing industry in general heading as we hopefully move past COVID this year and into back to normal? Where do you see it just still going up, or do you see like it just leveling out? And I just want to know your opinion.
I think we're still, relatively speaking, in the shadows compared to the bigger sibling of paid ads and all of that kind of stuff. And you still see it in sort of like your day-to-day life, like when we talk to people who are not from the industry about what we do. It's like, oh boy, I gotta explain what affiliate marketing is again. But I think that it's changing quickly, and I certainly have my hopes that we will catch up to the ad world, because I really think it makes more sense. There's more in it. It's the oldest form of marketing there is, and so from our perspective, we see things just continuing to take off, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, and I second your notion about dreading talking to people about affiliate marketing that don't have a clue, and it's very hard to explain to them what it is, and then because you want to make it as simple as possible, but you don't want to you don't want to like dilute it in any way, but it is very hard to explain to people that have no idea what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I sort of have like, my set of scripts and what I will say to different people based on, on my snap judgment. And, if it's like a grandparent asks me what I do, yeah, computer stuff.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely. I think there is something in it though, that is just like, it inherently makes so much sense. It's referrals, it's like if somebody recommends you a product, then they might earn something on that, and then there's obviously the technicalities of it to explain.
Yeah, and what do you say to the brands that are just starting an affiliate program? Like, what should they be, what should they be focusing on and looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was looking through some of the other sessions that you have lined up, and I'd say as the first thing, you should listen to the rest of this conference because it looks like there's going to be some great content
Oh,
in
thank you.
there. And I guess from a getting started perspective, I'd say that, and I'm maybe shooting myself a little in the foot here, but in the end of the day, it is a relationship industry. The data is super important, but if you're getting started, make sure you have your bases covered and then really focus on finding the people that are the publishers that are aligned with what you do, with who you are, and get those relationships built right. And the rest is all stuff on top of that.
Yeah, that's the common theme that I'm trying to push here is the relationships because that's what it is. The whole thing is
Absolutely.
relationships, and without those, you don't have an affiliate program. Really,
You don't exist.
we don't exist. Yeah, we don't, and I do appreciate it coming on and talking about data and how your company helps agencies and advertisers understand
Well,
it better and use it better. That's the most important part. They can have it all, but it's a matter of actually using it to help them grow.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me.
no, Jan, thank you very much.
Thanks.